Well, we got a milestone in the currency markets today that we want to talk about. The euro hitting parity with the U.S. dollar for the first time in 20 years.
Well, the euro has hit parity with the U.S. dollar, a first in over 20 years.
For nearly 20 years, the euro has been worth well more than the United States dollar. But the currency made controversial headlines about its stability in July 2022 after falling to the same value as the dollar. It didn't even stop there, because later in August, the euro fallout continued, putting it under the dollar for the first time in 20 years. So what reasons are behind the euro's crash? In other words, why is the euro collapsing? Well, let's find out right now when our thing unfolds. Now let's kick off by understanding a few basic things about the euro. What is the euro? In very simple words, we can say the euro is the monetary unit and the official currency of 19 out of the 27 member states of the European Union. And also, this group of 19 countries that use the euro is also referred to as the Eurozone. So every time you hear the word Eurozone in this video out there in your conversations, just understand what it means and remember that. But obviously, this is not the currency that Jesus Christ left for the people in the Eurozone. So whatever that currency was, we don't want to find out, because things were bad back in the days. What if they used bad plugs to trade? Anyways, unlike the bad plug currency, the euro took at least a decade in preparations, and it was later launched on January 1st, 1999. Comparing it to most of the relationships, the euro did not receive a smooth welcome. And one of the reasons behind that was it launched as a virtual currency. It was like the Bitcoin of the last century. Unlike fiat currency, you could not see or touch the euro in the first 3 years following its launch. You could have it, but without seeing it or touching it. And for that reason, one could only use the euro for accounting purposes and electronic payments. Another reason for the euro's unpleasant reception was being under the dollar for some time following its launch. Between December 1999 and December 2002, while in its invisible state, the euro traded below the United States dollar. But then, the currency defeated all the skepticism after coins and banknotes were launched on 1st January 2002. And in 12 EU countries, the biggest cash changeover in history took place. And after that historic move, the euro since traded at or above the dollar, sometimes peaking at 1.6 US dollars, for example in July 2008, and since then returning near to its original issue rate. But earlier this year, the euro started losing stability, and as of July 2022, two currencies hit parity and things are not slowing down. Now let's take 1 second to understand parity. What do I mean when I say parity? I'll give you an example. You see, for over 20 years, you needed more than $1 to purchase just €1. But when these two currencies hit parity in July this year, you need $1 to purchase €1 in foreign exchange market. The question raised now is, why is the euro collapsing? Because if you remember, the euro and the dollar hit parity, but still the euro remained inconsistent, which means it can be in parity with the dollar, but sometimes it can dive under the dollar. I'll put it to you this way. On some days since July, you need $1 to buy €1. But there are also some other days where you need less than $1 to buy €1. The euro dipping below the dollar and dropping to lowest levels in 20 years is all made possible majorly by the following factors. You see, a currency's exchange rate can be a vital verdict when it comes to economic prospects, yet Europe's rates have been fading. Expectations that seemed to promise a rebound after turning the corner from the deadly COVID-19 pandemic all turned into recession predictions. In this video, I will not explain a recession again, since there is a whole video that does, so you can find a link to that in the description below the like button, which means in your description you can also like this video. Now back to this video. Apart from disruptions from the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine has had the most impact on the euro than anything else. As it is well known, Europe is far more dependent on Russian oil and gas than any other region or country, which they need to do in order to generate electricity and run their industry sector. But since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in late February this year, fears that the war will lead to a loss of Russian oil on global markets pushed oil prices higher. Such fears first emerged after Russia faced a raft of sanctions imposed on them by the West after a few days following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. And in retaliation to these sanctions, Russia started cutting back on natural gas supplies to the European Union. The sense of doom increased after Russia reduced the flows through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline that traditionally transports gas from Russia to Germany all the way down to 20% of capacity. Since Russia was shutting down the pipeline for the second time in recent months, EU leaders remained skeptical and described Moscow's pipeline shutdowns as retaliations for sanctions that the West collectively imposed on Russia and continued weapons deliveries to Ukraine. Now, after losing a huge percentage of its oil and gas supplies from Russia, the Eurozone has been economically weakened. Yes, after meeting supply limitations from the world's second and third largest producer of natural gas and oil, respectively, the Eurozone has been severely damaged, which also affected their currency. Energy prices driven Euro area inflation almost to 10% in July, making everything more expensive, from groceries to utility bills. There also raised concerns about governments needing to ration natural gas to industries like steel, agriculture and glassmaking if Russia further reduces or shuts off the gas taps completely. But if Russia shuts off Europe completely, then things would get worse, because as of now, Europe's title transfer facility benchmark depicted natural gas prices soaring to record highs amid dwindling supplies, fears of total cutoffs, and strong demand. And after all that, I'll still take you to the question, which is, why is the euro collapsing? Now, I assume that you understand a stronger economy like the Eurozone's economy means a stronger currency. But if the economy suffers, the currency also loses stability. And at that stage, a currency's collapse becomes inevitable. This means that the future of the euro is going to remain in question as long as the Eurozone economy continues to face these ongoing challenges. And to our question, I think after watching all this, you did find the answer. Thanks a ton for watching. I'll catch you again in the next video.